clock here is a little ahead of 7, still 6-0, but I guess with lineups and anthem.
Homer wants.
All right, hello and welcome everybody here for the Boardwalk Honda Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events on 97.3 ESPN. It is the Njsiaa Playoff round here in Group 4. The opening round of the playoffs starts tonight. Mike Gill, Mike Franco live here at Atlantic City, where the Vikings, 20-6, host the Vikings of Eastern, 14-12, in a first-round matchup here tonight. Mike, we've got this Vikings team from Eastern coming in right around 500, but a lot of people think that this team could pull off an upset tonight.
Yeah, Eastern, the 12 seed coming in, Atlantic City, the 5 seed, and battle-tested out of the Olympic Conference. Mike, you mentioned it, 14-12 under head coach Kevin Crawford, but they've got some really nice wins. They also have a couple head-scratching losses, and in fact, this is a rematch. These teams played in early January here on a Saturday. Atlantic City won that game 62-54, but it was very competitive throughout. I'd expect another similar type competitive game tonight.
We'll have plenty more on this one. The opening tap, getting you ready for the Vikings of Atlantic City and the Vikings of Eastern. It's all coming up right here on the Boardwalk Honda Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events on 97.3 ESPN. Mike Gill, Mike Frankel here on 97.3 ESPN and 97.3ESPN.com, where you can watch live video of tonight's first round matchup, thanks to Matt Ulmer from Ulmer's Appliances. And when you look at this matchup here, Mike, it is an interesting matchup, some interesting names to watch, some nice scoring matchups, and it should be a fun one.
Absolutely. We mentioned off of the top that this is a rematch. These teams played in early January. Couple big players to keep an eye on for Eastern. Junior Troy Edwards, he almost single-handedly kept the Vikings of Eastern in that regular season game down the stretch, so he can score in bunches. He averages 13 per game. Senior Darren Gibson as well. He plays in the post. He can also play outside, a little undersized in the post, but he makes up for that in heart and grit. Really tough player down low, averaging about 14 a game. And then Jesse Barbera averages about 12 a game, another junior guard for the Vikings of Eastern, Mike.
Yeah, Atlantic City defeated Eastern 62-54 in that game back on January 21st. You can see a hard-fought matchup there for Atlantic City, and they're going to have to rely most likely on Ray Bethia and, of course, Wanye Cologne.
Absolutely, and really, the player who's emerged for Atlantic City over the last several weeks has been David Akins, junior guard, a guy who came off the bench early in the season, but he's been one of the leaders of this team of late. In fact, during that Cape Atlantic League championship game loss to St. Augustine the other day, I believe he had 17 points in that game on Saturday, and a game that really went down to the wire before St. Augustine sort of went on a run at the end and put it away. So we'll see how fast Atlantic City can erase that from their minds. Obviously, the state playoffs are a completely different animal than the Cape Atlantic League playoffs, but you don't want any hangover if you're AC right now.
Atlantic City seated 5th. Eastern seated 12th. The winner of this game will play the winner of Cherokee and Jackson Memorial. That game on Wednesday. If Cherokee wins, the winner of this game will head on the road. And if Jackson Memorial would win, they would be here in Atlantic City or at Eastern, depending on the winners of that game. We'll try to get you updates on it throughout the night here as the NJSIA Group 4 playoffs set to begin. It's always a great time of the year, the high school version of March Madness. And Atlantic City has prided itself on making deep runs, and many people wonder, is this team equipped to make that deep run? We started to see them play a lot better during the win streak. They lost in the Cape Atlantic League final on Saturday, but saw some good things in that game.
Atlantic City, for my money, is as talented or more talented than any team in the South Jersey Group 4 bracket. The thing is, though, Mike, there's a lot of teams with very similar talent levels, so it's going to come down to which team shows up on any given night. Really, you throw the dart against the dartboard there. One of any number of teams could come out of this bracket as the champion. Atlantic City certainly one of the favorites, but the Vikings have to show up night in, night out. Starts tonight.
The Eastern Vikings, dressed in blue with maroon trim, they win the top and have the ball. Atlantic City in their home whites. Eastern will move left to right on your radio dial, and if you're watching live video, on our website. Emis at the top. This is Barbera. A little motion offense to start things off. Man-to-man defense from the Vikings. Edwards. We'll give you the 5 on the floor in just a second. Barbera putting it on the floor. Cologne out on him. Here's Edwards on the far sideline. They put it into the corner. Now down low. And an easy layup there in the post. And give the first bucket of the night to Emis.
Very patient offensive set there from Eastern. Obviously, Kevin Crawford, head coach, who's had a lot of success in the past at Pittman. He's carried that success over to Eastern. They're going to run some methodical sets. They're going to make Atlantic City try to defend for long stretches of time.
Atlantic City with the ball. Morgan, Derry, Aikens, Bethia, and Cologne, the 5 starters for Atlantic City. Left hand for Derry to the bucket, and too strong, no good. Bethia with the putback. It's up and good. Ray Bethia has a layup. It's 2-2. Halfway, 30 seconds gone by to start this one. Minute and a half, I should say, gone by. A slow, methodical offensive set for Eastern to start this game. They almost throw it away. Bounce pass into the post, and a little short jump shot, too strong, and Cologne comes out in transition. Cologne between the legs at the circle. By the way, Montague starting for Atlantic City. This is Derry on the far sideline. 2 minutes gone by, 2-2 the score. At the elbow, Aikens puts up a floater, short. Eames comes down with it, but then it's stolen away by Cologne, and he's fouled.
And really, Mike, this is going to be a nice chance for Wanye Cologne to see the ball go through the hoop early on in the game. Here's a kid who shot the lights out for AC early on in the season, senior transfer from Georgia. He's had a little bit tougher stretch of late, only had 5 points in the Cape Atlantic League championship game the other day. For this team to do big things, they need to get this guy going. So a chance to go to the line here, although he misses the first.
Cologne, leading scorer for most of the season, kind of tailed off here, it seems like, ever since that game against St. Augustine. And he makes the second one. Atlantic City leads 3-2. They're going to need him to be big here. He's one of the few seniors as well that really gets a lot of playing time here. Bethia will be back again. Edwards at the top of the key, leads it off for Okoro. Barbera catches at the top of the key. Atlantic City playing man-to-man. 5:25 left to play. They dump it down into the post, down on the left block, and we got a jump ball, and Atlantic City will get the jump ball.
Good defense there by the Vikings. They're going to be all over the ball handler. We know that, but they're really going to try to guard off the ball as well. Eastern's a team that likes to run some backdoor cuts, so you always have to stay on your toes, even if you're not guarding the ball if you're Atlantic City.
Cross-court pass, tipped and stolen away. Eames comes down with it. Ryan Eames into the corner. Barbera for three, and it's good. Jess Barbera gives Eastern a 5-3 lead. 4:55 to play, first quarter. On the far sideline, snap pass back to Cologne, who takes a long three. That's too strong, and the rebound comes down to Eames. Away from behind by Cologne. Eastern, they lead 5.
He's seen some things he could do against this team in particular. We'll see buzzer there, and now with .6, it can be a catch and shoot situation, but it's got to be super fast, Mike.
Colin Pendergast into the ball game. Inbound, Bethia just kind of punches it, and Montague's shot goes down, but after the buzzer. End of one. Eastern 15, Atlantic City 12 on 97.3 ESPN.
Live coverage of the Atlantic City Vikings brought to you in part by Sapporo at 6501 Ventnor Avenue in Ventnor. In Italian, Sapporo means flavor, and they've got plenty of that on their menu. Wood-fired pizza, fresh salads, pasta, stromboli, and calzones. Stop in or call them at 609-822-6475 for takeout or delivery. Sapporo of Ventnor for a taste of Italy. Also brought to you by Vagabond Kitchen and Tap House just down the street from Atlantic City High School, the neighbor with the best burgers. Vagabond features live entertainment every night. Vagabond Kitchen and Tap House is open weeknights until 1 a.m. and until 3 a.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. Join your fellow Vikings fans before and after the games at Vagabond. This game also brought to you with the best wishes of everyone at Calvi Electric in Atlantic City, who encourage you to get out and support your favorite high school team every week.
All right, Pete Thompson, the third member of our team tonight, is with the Atlantic City huddle.
Guys, Gene Allen telling his guys, you notice if you move the ball, you get better shots. And that was it. They weren't moving the ball around enough. They were just trying to launch or jack up a couple of threes. 15-12, of course, here to start the second quarter.
Eastern will have the basketball moving left to right, dressed in the navy and maroon. Atlantic City in your home whites. If you're watching the live video on our website, 973ESPN.com, thanks to Matt Ulmer from Ulmer's Appliance Service. Eastern into the hands of Pendergast. Pendergast just into the game late in that first quarter. Barbera up top. Here's Gibson. More man-to-man pressure from Atlantic City. Pendergast over to Okora. Between the circles at the top of the key. Okora. A lot of movement here. Edwards back to Barbera. 30 seconds gone by and not even an attempt or a look at the basket. Edwards bounce pass. Gibson comes up to connect. Barbera getting some pressure. Cologne with a near steal, and the ball, it looked like it went off the foot of Barbera, and Atlantic City will get the ball back. Cologne just kind of got his hand in there, and it looked like it went off of Barbera's foot.
It looked like Barbera, too. He knew right away he wasn't going to be able to get that ball, so he tried to sell it. Like, obviously, it went off of Atlantic City, but the officials weren't buying it.
Cologne just hit a three late in that first quarter with the ball on the right sideline for Atlantic City. Dribble drive, three ball, Cologne, good. And Cologne has 7. He's a good guy to get heated.
He's obviously a top shooter, Mike, and I can't tell you enough. When a shooter sees that ball go in a couple times, especially when he's been in a slump, that has to feel so good for Wanye Cologne.
Barbera with a try to an answer for 3. The ball goes out of bounds. Gary lost a shoe. Atlantic City was playing 4-on-5 for a minute. Cologne's 3 tied it. It's 15-15. 6:45 to play in the half. There's the inbound. Okora loses the handle right off of his hand. Morgan with the steal. Bethia with a layup, and Atlantic City all of a sudden has the lead.
And Bethia making it look easy there. Great look. Flash Morgan didn't even put the ball on the floor. He just looked up and found his teammate.
Near steal. Back the other way. Edwards, spin move, no good. Okoro with the putback, no good. Too strong off the bottom of the backboard, off the back of Montague, and it stays with Eastern.
I think the intensity of this game just picked up a little bit, or what?
Atlantic City's defensive intensity certainly has. They lead at 17-15 all of a sudden. Barbera, Rice pass down low. Gibson goes up and he's fouled. Well, there was no one near him. If he would have run up right away, he probably has a basket. He still gets fouled, but he was anticipating somebody coming.
And Gibson talking to himself right now about what you just talked about, Mike. It's rare that a player would be wide open like that, but you called it absolutely right. Gibson, if he would have went up strong right away, he gets the easy two. He throws a pump fake on, he lets Atlantic City recover, and now he has to earn it from the free throw line.
Jacob O'Connell enters the game for the first time for Eastern. He wasn't shorted in the height category.
Just a sophomore, too.
Gibson connects, ties the game after a pair of free throws. 17-17 the score. Bethea on the right wing. Stared down by Edwards. Bethea with a left arm dribble, kick out into the corner for three. Good. Nazim Derry has 7. He gives Atlantic City a 3-point lead. 3 minutes. Should be 5:49 left to play in the half. 3-point lead for Atlantic City.
This is a good sign for the AC Vikings so far, Mike. It's a team, as we've seen them a number of times this year, they don't have a lot of size. What they do have is guys who can attack the basket and kick it to the open players for 3. Now, when those threes are falling, Atlantic City can be very successful. Tonight, they're falling early on.
Near steal as Pendergast dallies to steal. Here comes Atlantic City in transition. Cologne, 3-ball up from the right wing. Too strong, and Gibson comes down with the board. Atlantic City wants to travel, which you might agree with there. He kind of stuttered out of that rebound, but they think there was a foul first.
Derry obviously not happy with the call right there, as very little contact was made when the whistles blew, almost anticipating the contact was coming. And you're right, I think Gene Allen had a strong case for a travel against Eastern.
Miles Marshall enters. Aikens takes a seat, as does Derry. And into the game for Atlantic City is Flash Morgan. Pendergast catches on the right side. Barbera, bounce pass off of O'Connell's leg. Atlantic City defense definitely a step quicker.
Yeah, and Montague, give him credit on that play. O'Connell, he's trailing him across the baseline, but he makes it tough on the catch. He's almost right there as O'Connell gets the ball with his back to the basket, and the crafty senior able to force the turnover.
20-17, Atlantic City leads with the ball. 5:10 to play in the half. Bethea at the elbow, leaves it off for Cologne. Cologne at the foul line. Cologne, fall away jumper, too strong. Gets his own, puts it up, and good. Cologne working extra hard. (22-17). Barbera splits the lane, high off the glass. We got a foul on Montague, and not a lot of people happy about it.
Zion Montague seemingly camped out in that spot since we were here for the Battle by the Bay. That's absolutely a tough call against Atlantic City, unless the officials are going to say he sort of moved his feet at the last second. But I think that was Montague for 2 at the other end, Mike, so he's already making a difference in this game. That's a kid, too, as Barbera hits the first free throw. But that's a kid, too, who was in the starting lineup to start the year, and now he's almost adapting to that new role coming off the bench. I know tonight he started, but the bulk of his minutes lately as a high-energy guy off the bench.
Second shot by Barbera is no good. He goes 1 for 2. Morgan with the rebound, snap pass on the outlet to Cologne. Down into the post, Marshall loses the handle. Barbera comes out with it. Eastern loses the handle, and it's stolen by Cologne. Cologne's on the floor. He just throws it into the air, and it's taken by Morgan. Now Bethea at the left elbow. Kick out. Morgan, 3-ball is too strong. Rebound Bethea. Bethea in the post, and it's blocked. But foul called down on that left block, and it's Ray Bethea Jr. at the line shooting 2.
Bethea had a huge game the other day in the Cape Atlantic League Championship, Mike. I believe 22 points in a losing effort. He's carried over some of that hot play, not just in the scoring column, but rebounding. Also a couple assists early on here today.
Bethea with 5. After he makes the first, they lead by 5.
A couple of the scores tonight, Mike, from South Jersey Group 4. Cherry Hill East knocks off Washington Township 61-51. Egg Harbor Township goes down against a really good Shawnee team, 84-41.
Atlantic City showing some pressure. They kind of still have a little bit going in the backcourt. They're trying to take the ball away from Barbera. And Edwards, as Montague is kind of riding him, you see Miles Marshall now, Mike. He is just kind of shadowing Barbera.
Sort of a face-up look on defense there and trying to take the ball out of the hands of a guy who's been very hot for Eastern early on.
And Marshall comes out. So does Montague. Halfway through this first half, second quarter. Barbera inbounds. And he just throws it out of bounds. He was hoping for Gibson. Gibson just couldn't shake David Akins.
Yeah, I think if you're Kevin Crawford right now, you almost think about a timeout. Some players sort of arguing with one another. It's a completely different story from the way this game started for Eastern. Right now, AC with the lead and some momentum.
And they lead 24-18 with the ball. Halfway through the second quarter now. Kick out, Morgan into the paint, down to Bethea on the left block. Blocked away by Gibson. Bethea gets his own rebound, and then he hits the deck, and he'll go back to the line.
Good high post, low post look there, and Bethea goes up, and Gibson meets him right there. That's that play I'm talking about, Darren Gibson, not the tallest guy in the world. In fact, a little bit undersized there against Bethea, but he plays a lot bigger than he is.
Ray, it's not up to you.
Atlantic City will inbound, and they'll throw it all the way back to Bethea. Bethea crosses the timeline. Akins over to Cologne. Looking to spread the floor. Kind of a 2-3 look here now by Eastern. They get down in the post to Bethea. He kicks it out into the corner. Now a 3 ball is up, and Akins gets it to go. His first points of the night gives Atlantic City a 9-point lead. Bounce pass to Barbera. Drives the middle of the lane, looking for some separation. He gets it stripped away. By the way, Williamstown 17, Rancocas Valley 9. In that one. A lot of games starting off this NJSIA first round tonight. Bounce pass by Barbera into the middle of the paint. Atlantic City steals it. Bethea in transition with a pass up to Derry. Derry gets the layup to go, and Atlantic City has its largest lead of 11, 29-18 with 3:08 to play here in the half.
A message from the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association. The facts are in. High school athletes have higher grades and lower dropout rates, and they attend college more often than non-athletes. Encourage the young people you know to get involved with high school sports. This game brought to you by Interstate Batteries of Egg Harbor Township. Been providing South Jersey with outrageous dependability for over 26 years with over 1 million battery sales. They not only have a battery for your car, but for your boat, RV, motorcycle, ATV, truck, golf cart, or power chair. Interstate Batteries, America's #1 replacement battery, is located at 6064 Riga Avenue, Egg Harbor Township. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday 9 to 2. If you need a battery, you'll find it at Interstate Batteries. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
All right, Atlantic City leading 29-18. Eastern calls that timeout. Let's see what Gene Allen's got cooking in that huddle.
Guys, Gene Allen telling his team in this timeout that now they're passing the ball very well. So what a difference a couple minutes makes in the game to where, hey, pass the ball now, to they're passing the ball very well. Also a little message to him about some of the foul calls to their team. Gene Allen telling his Vikings, you're not going to get that call in the playoffs. This is the playoffs now. Work hard out there, men. Big men, cut to the basket. These are some of the messages from the Vikings, the Atlantic City Vikings. Timeout and huddle.
They lead 29-18. Eastern, the Vikings, will inbound the ball with Atlantic City showing full court pressure now. They kind of retreat. Edwards, bounce pass in the backcourt to Barbera. He still hasn't crossed the timeline. Now he does. Loses the dribble. Looking for it. He just fires it out of bounds. Barbera, you can see the frustration, and he's just anticipating, and they're not on the same page.
Look, the Olympic Conference is arguably as good a conference as the Cape Atlantic League, but I can tell you firsthand, no one plays defense in the Olympic like Atlantic City plays like here in the Cal. So this is a look defensively that Eastern obviously saw the first time around, and they probably haven't seen since.
Akins down on the baseline, gets it stolen away by Gibson. Here comes Edwards, and Edwards pass kind of knocked out of bounds right in front of us here. By the way, Lenape 75-49, a winner tonight. They advance. Get into the corner, and Eames loses the handle. Colon with the steal. Bounce pass for Bethia in transition. He missed it, but the rebound right there by Akins, and he puts it back in.
And that's why you follow. That's why you don't give up on the play. It looked like an easy layup for Bethia. I think he was bumped by Colon, his own player, at the last second, but that's why you always want to trail the play.
Coro back in. He's got the ball. Barbera at the top of the key. Cross court, nearly stolen, and now it's knocked out of the hands of Edwards by Akins. It'll stay with Eastern. Catrino makes his first appearance of the night for Eastern. Inbounds the ball. Barbera catches in the middle of the paint, blocked by Colon, who gets his own, and in transition, too strong by Akins. Rebound comes down for Gibson, and Gibson is surrounded by three Vikings. Edwards to Okora, bounce pass down low. Katrina gets a layup to go, so fresh into the game, Catrino puts it into the basket, 31-20. It's the first basket for Eastern in quite some time. Three ball at the answer, no good. Rebound is long, right back as it goes to Derry, and Derry lays it in. He's got 11.
Yeah, already over his average, and we talked about it. He had more than 20 the first time these teams met. He just likes this matchup.
Edwards thought about a three, puts it on the floor in the middle of the paint, all the way to the basket. He gets it blocked away by Morgan. 13-point Atlantic City lead with 1:04 to play, 33-20. Morgan flashing the defense.
If AC has one rim protector, it would be Flash Morgan, a guy who's not going to score a bunch, but he is the most size they have on the inside, that time protecting the rim well.
Barbera right in the lane, all the way to the basket, just fires up a shot. It tipped by Morgan. He certainly got a piece of that, but they're going to get Cologne for a foul.
Gene Allen certainly not happy about that one, but he has to be happy with the way his team's played in the second quarter here. You know, the first time around, Mike, this was sort of a double-digit Atlantic City lead early in the second quarter of that game, and they allowed the Vikings of Eastern back into it before going on to win. So a different story here tonight, trying to create some separation going into halftime.
Bennett's into the game for the first time. Pendergast returns. That's Jawan Bennett. Makes a pair, does Barbera. He's got 6, cuts the lead back to 11. Atlantic City easily breaks a little pressure here, and they get an easy layup on the other side. Flash Morgan with the catch and layup, and he's got his first 2 points. 35-22. Barbera at the elbow, just inside the elbow, gets it to fall. He's got 8. 35-24. That lead stays at 11. Back the other way. Cologne thinks about a 3, gets it back to Akins. By the way, Cherokee 21-5 over Jackson after 1. That's the winner of this game will face the winner of that game. 10 seconds to play here in the half. Atlantic City by 11. Bethia staring down the defense. Bennett defending. They kick it out for 3. The 3 is short off the top of the backboard, and then it hits the shot clock, which is not utilized, obviously, in a high school game. 2.5 seconds. Eastern will have one more chance to get a shot up. Barbera will inbound. Looking looking for a baseball chuck. Gets it to Bennett. Bennett crosses the timeline. He's got some time. Bennett puts up a shot way too late, and it's no good anyway. And that's how we end the first half of play with the score: Atlantic City 35, Eastern 24. Pete Thompson's got Gene Allen. Eat it, Gene Allen.
Gene, I know that there's things that you didn't like about that first half, so I'm going to challenge you in this. Your Vikings are up by 11. I'm going to challenge you to find the things you did like about that first half.
I thought the ball movement was excellent. We got off to a slow start defensively. I thought we did some nice things. And then I thought our penetration and then making the extra pass was really, really well done.
I heard you talk about ball movement in one of your timeouts. I also heard you talk about, hey, this is the playoffs. You're not going to get those calls.
Well, to be honest with you, we have 2 plastic bags in the locker room. So if you lose, let's just go home. So I'm hoping that kids understand that, and it has an impact on this game tonight.
Vikings up by 11, Gene Allen. Guys, back to you.
All right, Pete, he was heated before that interview. He calmed down during the interview. He said we like the ball movement. 2 bags in the locker room, and they don't want to put the uniforms in that bag to return those uniforms. That's always one of those motivational things, guys. You don't want to turn those uniforms in. Bring those bags with you. Bring an extra pair of shorts. And so far, 11-point lead. They're going to save those bags maybe for another night.
Yeah, absolutely. Atlantic City, a team that, and our listeners and our viewers know, absolutely used to going on long runs in the postseason. You go back to those back-to-back state championship years a couple years ago. Of course, last season, South Jersey Group 4 champs, but we talked about it off the top. It's a loaded bracket this year, but through one half, so far, so good for Gene Allen and Atlantic City in a good spot right now, up 11, and a chance, if they play their cards right early in the third, to try and put this Eastern team away here.
Derry with 11, Cologne with 9. They lead the way for Atlantic City. Barbera with 8, Edwards with 6, as the Vikings from Eastern trail by 11 here at halftime with the score 35-24, Atlantic City over Eastern. The winner will face the Cherokee Jackson Memorial winner. Last we saw that game was a 21-5 Cherokee lead, and we know Atlantic City and Cherokee have had their matchups in the past, and there's a possibility that Wednesday night Atlantic City could be heading back up to Marlton to take on the Chiefs if everything continues to go this way. We'll be back with the second half right here on 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget, live video on our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
Tom tested me. Make sure you're reading the blue card before these. Can we just read them ahead of time? Okay. Sure.
I don't know if I'm getting service again. So I hope that Josh is getting my stuff. So.
Crawford from Eastern. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. Don't turn the ball over at half court defense. Those are two of the keys there from Kevin Crawford tonight. Guys, back to you.
Cherokee leads Jackson Memorial 36-13 at halftime. The winner of this game, most likely now, looks like they were facing Cherokee. Mike, you heard Kevin Crawford. He said when they're half court, they're just an average team. But when they get you going in the half court, in the open court, they're like a Big East team.
The caveat there for me, at least, is when they're hitting their shots, they're better than average in the half court. And that's a situation where they are hitting their shots early on tonight, Mike. Guys like Wanye Cologne, a guy like Nazim Derry, they've hit some threes. So a little bit better than average when they're knocking down threes. So sort of a double-edged sword there. You got to try to stop them in transition, stop them in the half court. But Coach Crawford is absolutely right. You have to start with the half court and then try to work your way to chipping away and not let them get those easy points in transition.
About to start the third quarter here on 97.3 ESPN. It's the Boardwalk Acura Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events on 97.3 ESPN. The professional staff is waiting to serve you at Boardwalk Acura on Tilton Road in EHT. Live action, Atlantic City with the ball, moving left to right, dressed in white. Eastern in blue. 35-24. Atlantic City has the lead. Aikens on the right wing. Puts the ball on the floor one time, gives it off to Bethia. They move it over to the left wing for Cologne. Cologne at the elbow. Aikens with a fall away, gets it to fall. So Aikens gets on the board. He has 7.
We talked about heading into halftime, Mike. Already with an 11-point lead, you can put all kinds of pressure on Eastern right now. If you get some stops defensively, hit a couple buckets at the other end, you can put this one away early.
Atlantic City trying to do that. Edwards trying to prevent it. His 3 is short. Bethia in transition, kicks it out. Aikens thought about it from the elbow. Aikens back up top for Cologne. Cologne at the foul line. 3 ball straight on Derry. It's front rim, no good. Rebound comes down to Ems. Gibson. Nearly stolen by Cologne. Throws it down into the paint. Ems with a layup, and that goes down. Ryan Ems has 6. (37-26). Atlantic City leads. Into the corner. Back up top. Derry's pass is tipped. Saved by Aikens. Cologne catches. Montague, bounce pass down low for Bethia, and he is fouled down on the right block.
Smart play there by Bethia, trying to split the double team there. His post-up game too, Mike, it's so much more than scoring. If they get the ball to him down there, he can find the open man on the wing.
Inbound 3, good. Aikens has double digits with 10. 40-26, AC. Barbera, left of the lane. Edwards on the wing, double teamed, leaves it off for Okora. At the elbow, gets it to Barbera. Barbera's pass is tipped. Okora puts up a little finger roll, and Okora has his first deuce of the night.
That's a guy, too, who has to step up his game in the second half. They need points from some of these other players. It can't just be the guys like Edwards and Barbera and Gibson carrying them. They're going to need some other contributions. Eastern will if they're going to get back in this thing.
Derry tried to dump it down low for Bethia. It gets knocked into the hands of Montague, and he's got 4 after that layup, and Atlantic City's up 42-28. 5:23 to play in the third.
Excuse me, Mike, you want to talk about getting contributions from some guys who aren't going to put up double digits. That's what Montague does for AC, a guy who can get some timely baskets for him.
Barbera on the right wing, down on the block, and a old college layup slap in the backboard for Okora down in the paint. 12-point deficit. Eastern down 42-30. Cologne, jab steps, cross court for Aikens. Aikens in motion, right of the lane, layup off the high glass and down. David Aikens has 12.
David Aikens just continues to impress. Can't say enough about the kid. Again, playing sparingly early this year, but the junior, he's come on in a major way this season.
Barbera to Okora, down on the block for Gibson, and he gets an easy layup. So they're trading easy buckets here. Gibson with 6, they still trail by 12. Aikens Bringing the ball up between the circles, crossing over to Bethea. Cologne catches at the top of the key. Akins, dribble drive, spins, leaves it in the corner for Montague. Montague on the right block, out to Bethea. Bethea kicks it into the corner. Akins, a little shot, no good. Rebound comes down to Gibson. 4 minutes to play in the third. And a high shot off the glass for Ryan Ims, and he has 8 points. That one just a little 6-foot jumper, high off the glass. 10-point lead for Atlantic City with the ball.
Just a little too easy right now if you're Gene Allen. Some of these baskets on the inside for Eastern, so he's got Njsiaa Morgan ready to check into this game, get a little more size on the inside.
Up top, Akins, jab step. Akins spins at the elbow, kicks it out top. They get it to Cologne between the circles. Cologne directing traffic for the Vikings. Wanya Cologne with 9 points. Bethea, dribble drive down the middle of the paint, and he has a little no-look pass down on the block for Montague. Just wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, great look. Montague just, as you called exactly, just not quite ready for it. A little bit too hot to handle in tight quarters, too. Absolutely a good pass, but maybe the pace of the pass a little too much for a player just a couple feet away from you.
Bethea comes out. Marshall into the game. With a 10-point lead, they're going to give Ray a breather, as does Akins, takes a seat. Morgan in for him. There's a shot for Eastern to try to chip away with Ray Bethea sitting on the bench. And David Akins, 2 of their top scorers. Barbera tried to go baseline. It was kicked away by Wanya Cologne. Akins going to come right back into the game.
Yo, sit down. What are you doing, man? I didn't do that. Know what you're talking about.
10-point deficit from Eastern. They got the ball. Here comes Edwards. Gibson backs up, trying to get a clear out, using the right side there, a little right side jumper for Gibson. So he's using the right hand there to his advantage and cuts the lead to 8.
Yeah, he's one of the few seniors that gets some regular playing time for Eastern, too, almost taking matters into his own hands there and saying he's not ready to go home yet.
Down low, Montague with some position. His shot is blocked by Okora, and the rebound comes down to Eastern. Here comes Edwards, back the other way. Eastern at the right elbow. Edwards just fires up a shot. He thought he was fouled, and the rebound comes down to Atlantic City. Cologne in transition, and he gets the ball taken away, but there's a whistle.
Crawford beside himself right now, head coach of Eastern. He wanted to foul on his guy at the one end, and then a similar play at the other end. Obviously some contact, though, and the officials have to make that call, but it looks like they'll call it on the floor.
Derry inbounds, gets it to Marshall. Up top for Cologne. Cologne catches on the right wing, gets it off to the right side for Morgan. Morgan working on Okora. Little 17-foot jump shot is air ball. Edwards crosses the timeline. 44-36. 2 minutes to play in the third. Up and no good. Edwards looking for a foul. Morgan gets the rebound. Morgan back the other way, and Morgan goes coast to coast.
Good defense from Miles Marshall at the other end here as the Vikings of Eastern throw it away.
They tried to beat Atlantic City back in transition, and they ended up throwing an errant pass. 10-point lead for Atlantic City with the ball. Nazim Derry's got 11. He's dribbling the ball up the court on the right sideline. Edwards coming out on him. Eastern playing kind of a 2-3 extended right now. And Derry goes all the way to the basket. He looks like he got hammered. No call. Rebound Atlantic City. Montague puts it up. No good. Emis gets the rebound. And Gibson comes out with it. Gibson behind his back. Gibson loses the handle and he gets called for a catch.
Tough break there for Gibson, trying to work through the Vikings of AC. Double, even triple team there, and patting himself on the chest saying, that's my bad. Still a big spot here. 10-point game. Obviously, Atlantic City hasn't run away with this thing. But if they get a couple buckets here to end the quarter, some big-time momentum heading into the fourth.
About a minute left to play in this third quarter. Atlantic City holding 10 with the ball. Derry goes left to right. Switching hands. Derry to the basket. Derry puts up a wild shot. It's no good. Emis gets the rebound. Here comes Edwards. Leaves it up for Gibson. Gibson goes to the basket. Blocked away by Morgan.
It's that rim protection again from Flash Morgan, a guy who's going to do more than just fill the stat sheet with points. He's going to affect some shots and certainly block some shots.
46-36. 40 seconds to play in the third. Emis down low for Gibson. Gibson has position. Not the biggest guy down there, but he's been scoring in that block.
A lot of interesting matchups out there on the floor right now. Nazim Derry certainly has the advantage on offense with a guy like Edwards guarding him, but maybe a little undersized to try and guard Gibson in the post at the other end.
Emis catches the inbound. 30 seconds to play in the third. Barbera with a shot in the middle of the paint, gets it to go. They've got 10. They cut the lead to 8. And Eastern calls timeout with 29 seconds left in the third. They trail 46-38 here on the Boardwalk Acura Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events on 97.3 ESPN.
There's a full line of brand new cars available for rent at Just 4 Wheels on the White Horse Pike in Galloway Township, Delsey Drive in Vineland, and on Washington Street in Cape May. They also have moving trucks, minivans, and 15-passenger vans. Be smart. Rent at Just 4 Wheels, serving South Jersey for more than 35 years in Galloway, Vineland, Berlin, Cape May, and Lakewood. They're open from 8:30 a.m. until 7 p.m. daily. Just 4 Wheels, car, truck, and van rental.
Pete Thompson was inside the Atlantic City huddle.
Guys, frustration in the Atlantic City huddle, maybe about some fouls that weren't called or some holding of the jersey that wasn't called. Gene Allen had an answer for that. I don't care if he held you or not. Pass the basketball. Share the basketball is what Gene Allen's reminding his players. When you share the ball, good thing happens. Also said, hey, one shot. So they're going to hold for one shot.
Ray Bethea inbounds. He's back in the game. 30 seconds to go. Third quarter, 46-38. Some pressure from Eastern. Atlantic City easily gets it up to Cologne. Far sideline. Cologne circles to the top of the key, gets it back to Derry. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. Derry staring at the clock. 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Derry jab step, gets it to Cologne. 2 seconds, Cologne with a long three. It's no good, and it might have been deflected by an Eastern player, and not a great ending possession there for Atlantic City. They lead 46-38 here at the end of the third quarter on the Boardwalk Honda Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events on 97.3.
Everyone at Boca Cold Fire Bistro wishes the Atlantic City Vikings good luck at a safe and healthy tournament run. Boca, located at 7805 Ventnor Avenue in Margate, provides fully staffed catering, nothing too big or too small. Boca has the best coal-fired pizza in the area. Boca is 3 restaurants at 1 location: pizza, dining room, and bar, and lounge with live local music on Fridays. Like them on Facebook or visit bocanj.com. Boca has fast, free delivery. Call today, 609-823-FOOD. That's 823-3663. Shoppies, even better online. You've probably visited their showroom at 1031 Shore Road in Linwood. But at Shoppy.com, you can select and design your own trophy or award and order it right there. Shoppies also has a complete line of gifts. Remember, you're not presenting the finest trophy unless you're presenting a Shoppy trophy. Call them at 609-653-1684 for Shoppies since 1921.
Pete Thompson has this report as we start the fourth quarter.
Guys, the buzzword out of that timeout at the end of the third quarter was weak side help defense. The weak side help not getting a good review in that quarter because, quite frankly, there was none. So the Atlantic City coaching staff reminding those guys there's more than one person that has to D up here for the Vikings from Atlantic City to be successful.
46-38, start of the fourth quarter. Barbera tries to get it down to the post. O'Clory gets a shot blocked by Morgan. Rebound comes down to Eastern. And a little left-hand jumper for Ryan Emis. He's got double figures with 10.
Just a 6-point game all of a sudden. Mike Eastern very much back in this thing early in the fourth.
Been just kind of battling. Atlantic City looked like they were firmly in control, up by as many as 11 into the corner. On the left side, Morgan takes it to the basket. Morgan high off the glass, no good. Rebound comes down to Montague, and Montague with an offensive rebound and the putback. He's got 6, and that was in some traffic.
Yeah, he's been nice for them, obviously in a starting role tonight, and high-energy guy crashing the boards and 6 big points. Anything you get offensively from Montague is a bonus. He's been big tonight.
Gibson on the left side. Gibson takes it to the basket. Gibson just throws one up, and he's fouled.
That's a tough call against Ray Bethea. The only thing I can think they're calling is instead of having his hands straight up, at the last moment he sort of put his arm at an angle, and Gibson jumped right into it. But
Cherokee 48, Jackson Memorial 22 after 3. The winner of this game will face the winner of that one. Cherokee looks firmly in control there. Here it's 48-40. Shot good from Gibson.
Millville with a win tonight too, Mike, 64-58 over Kingsway in Group 4. So Millville heading on to face Toms River North, the 1 seed.
Second shot good. So Gibson hits a pair, makes this a 6-point game. Cologne catches off the pressure. Back to Cologne, over to Derry. Morgan up top. Cologne at the foul line for Morgan at the right elbow, and it's stolen away. Barbera down the middle of the lane. He puts up a layup. It's too strong, but he was fouled, and if that would have gone, you would have heard a Eastern contingent get off their feet.
Chance to cut it to 4 here, Mike, and we heard Kevin Crawford talk to Pete at halftime there. Obviously, his team was down double digits, and they were just looking to chip away and try to slow down the Vikings in the break. They've been able to do that for most of the second half so far.
Got to convert here if you're Eastern. First one's no good for Barbera, who has 10 points, along with Gibson and Emis. They all have 10, so some balanced scoring from this Eastern Vikings squad. The second one is good. Got 11, they cut the lead to 5. 6:32 to play. Petrino defending on Akins, who's back into the game. Bethea, who's been quiet tonight, he has just 6 points. They get it to Ray in the block. He's double, triple teamed, but he still somehow gets it to go. He's got 8.
And a guy who scores timely baskets, too. I mean, sure, he can fill up the stat sheet, he can go for 20, but in a night where he's doing other things, he knows when his team needs 2, and he gets them 2 right there.
Barbera at the left elbow, they get it to Emis. Gibson stares down a 3. It's too strong, and the rebound comes down to Morgan. Morgan comes up in transition. He throws one up for Ray Bethea. Bethea taps it out of bounds, but it'll go back to Eastern. 7-point lead for Atlantic City. Eastern with a couple of reinforcements with 5:48 to play in the game.
South Jersey Group 2 playoffs getting underway tonight as well. Mike, Middle battles Overbrook as the 14 seed, but Middle Township falls 48-46. Thanks to our colleague Brian Kniff for that update.
Here it's 50-43. Amos catches in the paint, strong move with the left hand, too short, rebound comes down to Marshall. Marshall in transition, gets it up for Bethea. Bethea, right lane, and Akins puts up a shot. It's no good, the rebound comes down. It is still on the floor, and Eastern comes out with it. Gibson with the rebound, and a foul as he takes the ball baseline, and Montague will get whistled for the foul.
This is exactly what Atlantic City didn't want down the stretch here. Eastern fighting its way back into this game right now. A chance to chip away again, try to get back within 5. And the pace of play right now really an advantage for Eastern over Atlantic City. Eastern has slowed down the AC break, and it's more of a half-court game right now.
You gotta get the ball.
Gibson.
Guard. Go get the rock.
No good. 7-point game. Atlantic City leads. Eastern at the free throw line. This is Darren Gibson averaging 14 a game. Right now he's at 10, make 11. The senior for Eastern leads the way for the Vikings. Atlantic City back the other way. Akins leads off for Montague in the right post and can't get it to go, but he will get to the free throw line.
Nice Nice look on that play there from David Akins, finding the senior down low. Montague, just one of 2 seniors in the regular rotation for Atlantic City this year.
Montague at the line, and that one is way too strong.
You know, one thing to keep in mind, Mike, too, you're used to Atlantic City going pretty deep in recent years. This is a team that really only goes 6-7 deep this year, and obviously in the large school South Jersey Group 4, you wonder if that lack of depth might catch up to the Vikings at some point.
Second shot, no good, but Atlantic City gets the rebound. Akins has it, gets it to Cologne. Cologne cuts the lane, no good. Rebound comes down, and Cologne off the miss. Montague got it, and we got a whistle on the floor. Yeah, you're right. Atlantic City not as deep as we've seen them in past years.
And with this playoff format, too, you're basically playing every other night. And a lot of the guys playing a lot of minutes for Atlantic City. But it's all about winning and advancing this time of year.
Bethia on the left wing. Gets it off for Morgan. Morgan at the top of the key for Cologne. Over to Bethia. Bethia with a jab step. Gets it down in the paint. It's stolen away. Stolen away by Pendergast. Edwards spins. Nearly stolen by the Vikings. Pendergast catches into the corner. Barbera for 3. That's too strong. But Gibson's there for the rebound. Blocked away by Morgan. It'll stay with Eastern, who trails 50-44 with 4:35 to play in the game. Inbound. Emis gets a shot blocked away by Morgan. Rebound comes down. Akins has the ball. And a foul in the backcourt.
Coach, we got 4 timeouts.
Gibson whistled for the foul.
Atlantic City checking on his timeout situation here, and looks like they'll take one right now.
So they want to try to reset some things with 4:28 to play in the game. Atlantic City 50, Eastern 44, here on the Boardwalk Honda Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events on 97.3.
Vic's Sub Shop, 742 Ohio Avenue in Absecon, offers great quality and friendly service with all sandwiches piled high with their assortment of fresh meats, cheeses, and vegetables, and available for pickup or delivery. Call them at 645-0500. Vic's is open 7 days a week until 8 p.m. on weeknights and until 9:30 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Vic's Sub Shop, Ohio Avenue in Absecon, serving the best and freshest subs in South Jersey for over 70 years. Need a sign? You need Captain Charlie. Captain Charlie uses Blue Water graphics and Cape signs to create signs for real estate and other businesses. They do construction site signs and window lettering for your business. They can also provide the lettering for your van, truck, car, or boat. You can reach Blue Water Graphics at 609-823-8891 and Cape Signs at 856-506-0610. Signs, banners, vehicles, windows, they can supply whatever lettering you need at Blue Water Graphics and Cape Signs.
Mike Gill, Mike Frankel, and Pete Thompson were live here at Atlantic City as the Vikings lead 50-44. They just called timeout. Let's see what they got going on.
Keep running motion and keep cutting is what Gene Allen's coaching staff telling his guys. And also reminding them there's 4:28 to go and they're up 6. One of those calming messages of guys, don't rush a shot up, don't jack a shot up. When you have a 6-point lead, take the time, run the offense. That's the message from the Atlantic High Huddle.
Yeah, 4:28. Eastern's thinking, guys, we got plenty of time. Let's keep going. Now they're going to put some pressure on Cologne. Cologne gets to the free throw line. Bounce pass down low to Montague. Montague shot blocked from behind by Okora, but a foul. Atlantic City breaks the pressure. But Montague's a guy they don't mind putting to the line.
Yeah, you gotta like the toughness from a kid like Zion Montague. I mean, just by default, based on so many slashers they have on the Vikings of Atlantic City, he has to play in the post. I mean, and he's what, 6'2", maybe top, so he has to play bigger than he is, and certainly some players over the years have done that for Atlantic City, but he's able to draw the foul again and sink the free throw.
Makes the first one after missing a couple before and gets a second one to go. So Montague has 8 points, and he's not a guy they really look to score all that much.
Yeah, those are bonus points like we talked about. He's played a real tough game tonight for Atlantic City.
Atlantic City up by 8. Edwards and Barbera catching the backcourt. Barbera puts the ball on the floor with the left hand, crosses over to the right. Ball's on the floor, and Cologne with a near steal. Ball still on the floor, and it goes out of bounds. Eastern will retain possession with 3:57 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Down low, Okora. They tried to get it to Okora. Montague pokes it from behind, and they're going to call a foul on Zion Montague.
Another tough call against Atlantic City there. Official saying that he hooked the offensive player to try to gain some leverage, but I think if you're Gene Allen and the coaching staff, you appreciate the effort from your senior.
Cologne takes a seat for ACI. Edwards inbounds. Looking, gets it, he throws it away. Montague steps in and gets a steal. Aikens back in transition. Aikens takes it all the way to the basket, and he is fouled from the backside.
That one on the floor, Mike, although it is the 6th team foul in Eastern, so one more here, and AC will be shooting 1-and-1 the rest of the way.
A little confusion on who that foul was on, and it's Okoro. Atlantic City inbounds. They get it into Aikens, and Aikens catches with 1 foot in front of the half-court line, Mike, but the momentum took him behind.
Unfortunate situation there for Aikens, as just didn't keep track of where his feet were, and an easy call because it happened right in front of the official. And you're right, his momentum carried it into the backcourt, but he gained possession of the front court.
Barbera dribbles up, gives it to Edwards. Edwards left to the lane. Edwards pulls it out to the left wing. Spins. Edwards is in the middle of the paint. Edwards shot blocked away by Morgan, and the rebound. It's Edwards, and he gets the putback. He's got 8, and it makes it a 52-46 advantage for Atlantic City with 3:25 to play in the game. Derry goes around the defender, leaves it off to Aikens. Aikens spins, loses the defender, puts up a shot, front rim, no good, rebound. Okoro comes down with the miss.
Mike, it almost seems like AC is kind of going at half speed. They don't know whether to attack or kill some clock right now. It's sort of a dangerous strategy for Atlantic City.
Emis with a layup off the left block makes it a 4-point game with just under 3 minutes to play. Aikens crossing the timeline. Defense coming out. There's Emis with the trap. Aikens goes through it. Circles back to the top of the key. Dribbles through 2 defenders, and then he just kind of lets one go. It looked like it hit off of his leg. They get it down to Bethea on the block. Bethea finds Montague on the left block. That extra pass, and Montague is fouled.
That's what I'm talking about, though, Mike. And way too cavalier there. If you're some of the ball handlers, including Aikens, there's well over 2 minutes to go in this game. And Atlantic City is almost trying to kill the clock right now. It's way too much time to think about that. You have to continue to attack here, but a big foul out here as the senior for Eastern is done for the night.
Yeah, Darren Gibson, their leading scorer, has fouled out with 2:28 to play in the game, which could be his final high school basketball game. Montague's shot no good.
Obviously, the task gets a little easier for Atlantic City without Gibson on the floor, but I think the strategy has to be the same right now. I think you have to break some people down off the dribble. Sure, you run some clock if you can, but if you have a 2-on-1, a 3-on-2, even out of the half court, you got to try and attack the basket.
11 points for Gibson. Montague misses a pair. Bethea tries to get the board. He tips it up to Montague, and Atlantic City retains possession. Cologne for 3, gets it to go. Cologne has 12. He hasn't had much, though, in this second half.
And that's what I'm talking about, though, Mike. You penetrate, and if you don't score on the inside, you find the open man. Turns up the energy on the defensive side, too.
Atlantic City gets a turnover. 55-48. Atlantic City leads with 2:10 to play. Well, Cologne 3 gives them a little bit of breathing room, and they get the ball back. Atlantic City inbounds back the other way. They get the shot blocked. Cologne wants a foul. The rebound comes down for Bennett. It's stolen by Morgan, and Morgan with a 2-hand power slam.
Talk about redeeming yourself. Cologne and Morgan had their signals crossed. Morgan says, hey, I'll get it back for us, and I'll stuff it.
3-ball, Barbera, no good. Rebound, Barbera. Emis threw his hands, and Bethea 1-on-1 with the basket. Oh, he's fouled. He tries to throw one down, and it was too strong. He'll go to the line with 1:38 to play and a chance to give him a double-digit lead.
And Ryan Eames, too, give him credit for tracking down Bethia. Not a malicious or a hard foul, just created enough contact to throw off the dunk attempt, because if Ray Bethia Jr. throws that one down, say goodnight.
Bethia misses. The first free throw. Second one coming for Ray. It's no good. He missed a pair. So Eames clears the board. They trail by 9. Edwards back in. Edwards trying to get some separation, and a foul called, and that will be the 16th foul on Atlantic City.
Obviously not a bad foul there with 1 to give.
3 fouls now on Derry. Barbera gets it in. Eames catches. Edwards comes to get it. 1:28 to go. Eastern trails by 9. Barbera on the right side. Pressure, gets by it. 3 ball, straight on, front rim, no good. Eames with the board, tips it up, and it's stolen away. Knocked on the floor, and we got a jump ball. With 1:11 left to play, the arrow faces Eastern.
You love to see that, Mike. Guys on both sides selling out there, going after the basketball. Even Atlantic City, a 9-point lead, not taking anything for granted right now, trying to seal this one up.
Atlantic City leads by 9 with 1:11 to play. Eastern with the ball. They inbound it underneath their own basket. Pendergast drops, but regains. Eames thinks about it, gets it off to Barbera. Barbera at the elbow. Pendergast with a little jumper. That's too strong. The rebound comes down to Atlantic City. Morgan has it as we go under a minute. Everyone just kind of stopped there for a second. They thought there was a foul or something that was going to be called, but no whistle. And now we got a foul from Eames on the far side of the court.
Almost a
Barbera actually on the foul.
Almost a jump ball situation, I think, is what everyone sort of stopped for as the ball looked to be tied up, but no whistle, so Morgan was able to outlet it.
50 seconds to play. Cologne at the line. First one's good. Got 13. Leads all Atlantic City scores, leads all scorers in the game.
And Mike, 2 for Wanye Cologne, obviously, and it looks like Atlantic City will go on to win this game. He's helped to win tonight, but what confidence this is for a kid who, we talked about it, started out the season red hot, struggled a little bit, but boy, this has to feel good going into the second round of the playoffs.
Pendergast catches on the wing. Eames, high off the glass, too strong. Put back, no good, blocked away by Okora. And we got a foul on Cologne. So Atlantic City looks like, with an 11-point lead and 34 seconds left, that they are going to escape out of here.
Some other scores here, Mike. Williamstown pulling ahead of Rancocas Valley right now, 42-28. These are all South Jersey Group 4 scores. If you missed the ones from earlier, Cherry Hill East knocking off Washington Township, 61-51. Shawnee handling Egg Harbor Township, 84-41. And Millville coming back to beat Kingsway, 64-58.
Cherokee, 56-34 over Jackson Memorial. Atlantic City will face them after these 27 seconds are up. It will be official. And that game would be Wednesday night in Marlton, where Atlantic City won on the road a very big game a couple of years ago. Was that last season?
Last season, it was the South Jersey Championship game. Cherokee, a team that in Group 4 has been there a number of years in a row. And Atlantic City went up there, tough atmosphere on the road, and got the job done. The team last year with seniors like Lamar Thomas leading the way.
Ray Bethia.
So many of the guys out on the court right now, Mike, were sophomores on that team. Remember, Wanye Cologne wasn't here last year, but a lot of these guys that are juniors now did play off of the bench as sophomores. Bethia, a guy who started last year, so they're battle-tested, and they won't be afraid going into a place like Cherokee.
Bethia gets into double figures with that second free throw. Barbera. Baseline. Shot is up, no good. Rebound, that was Kleinowski.
Klanowski.
Yeah. I need glasses, I think.
Brother played at Eastern a couple years ago, had a real nice career.
That'll do it. Final score, Atlantic City 61, Eastern 48. The Vikings are now 21-6, and Eastern will close out the season at 14-13. Mike, Atlantic City pushed, but they held off that Eastern run right there at the end of the third and early fourth.
Yeah, not your average 5-12 game to start the playoffs, and really for both sides, Eastern much better than your average 12 seed. We talked about it off the top, battle-tested in that Olympic conference, some really nice wins, a couple losses that they'd love to have back, and then Atlantic City, though, a lot more talented than a 5 seed. Pete Thompson standing by with head coach Gene Allen.
Gene Allen had got as close as 4. There's little beads of sweat up here. You pull out the victory, though. Your thoughts?
Well, I thought that we got a little disheveled. We need to work on some things, but overall, I'm glad we got the win. You survive and move on.
You told us going into halftime you had 2 plastic bags in there. Your speech at halftime was how good some of the players had done on the defensive side of the ball. But I think the big thing that I kept hearing you come back to during the course of the game was, this is the playoffs, man. This is one and done sometimes. Like, do you think now the switch is going off? Not that you want a close game, but do you think now the switch is going on for the light bulb? Like, oh, wow. You hope so, right?
Yeah.
I will ask you this, or I'll tell you this. A man all night that I kept watching, let's just say one of the referees was a little older than the other 2 referees. I would like to point out to you that old fart gets an assist on Flash's dunk. That ball goes out of bounds on that steal. So even though he may not have been the most popular with the AC fans, big throw down. 1 dunk good, 2 dunks not so good.
I agree. Great assist. If he was a hockey guy, it'd be Claude Giroux.
Gene Allen thrilled to get a victory out of his team tonight, 61-48. By the way, Cherokee was leading big at the half. Cherokee probably where they're going to go next.
They will. Cherokee, a big winner tonight over Jackson Memorial. That score, the Chiefs 56-34 over Jackson Memorial. And that was Atlantic City will now head to Cherokee on Wednesday night for the Boardwalk Acura Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events on 97.3 ESPN. Your trusted dealer for car loans, auto parts, and auto repair. Visit boardwalkacura.com. He said, did the lights go on? He said, I'm not so sure. Obviously not thrilled. Happy to win, but not thrilled with the way it went down.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, and Gene Allen's going to play it low-key. Obviously, he's been on enough deep runs in the playoffs to not get excited about 1 win in the opening round. It's an important first step, obviously. You can't get to a South Jersey championship game or even a state championship game if you don't win the first one. And sometimes these first ones are challenging, Mike. I always go back to that first state championship run of that back-to-back run a couple years ago, 2012, where an Apsagami team came in here on the road and took Atlantic City to overtime in the opening round. If AC doesn't get that game, they don't go on that run. So the ones in the first round sometimes just as important as the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. And you got to get 1 before you can get to those latter stages of the playoffs. So a good stepping stone for Atlantic City and another huge test in the next round against Cherokee.
Atlantic City gets 1 tonight. They advance 61-48 over Eastern. The Vikings, 21-6, will play Wednesday night against Cherokee. Tomorrow, Ocean City is in playoff action. We'll have that for you here on 97.3 ESPN as the high school version of March Madness is underway, and we'll have it all for you right here on 97.3 ESPN and 97.3ESPN.com. Matt Ulmer provided the video from Ulmer's Appliance. Make sure when you think of appliances, you think of Matt Ulmer for helping supply all the video for these games all season long. Pete Thompson tonight on the sidelines, Mike Frankel and Josh Henning back at the station. Sixers Warriors coming up now right here on 97.3 ESPN. Have a great night, everybody.